Mine should be up? Question mark? Yeah, it's up. Hello everyone. If you are if you're watching this after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying. Time stamps will be in the description below once I get a chance to pop them in. That should help you navigate the stream much quicker. Just setting up a few other things and getting everybody ready. I'll see you in a moment. To be fair, all I've got to do is put my blooming on. That's what I've got to do.
I told them to ready up, so we're about to get underway.
Awesome stuff.
Lifebelt says final race in this shit game.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think 2020 was the better game of the last two.
Can't agree. Can't agree.
No.
I'm on 22 and I'm going over some of the curbs and I'm thinking, why have we gone back to 2020 logic where sometimes you can go over the same curb and spin and other times you'll be fine. Say what you will about the curbs on 2021, at least it was consistent. If you went on the curb, you spun. But now we're back to, if you go on the curb, most of the time you're fine, but sometimes you'll lose the rear end for no reason.
Yeah, it's a weird one, eh? Anyway, good evening everybody and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm SUMO, your commentator this evening, and joining me as always is the 4-time sprint champion Ghost. How you doing?
I'm doing alright, mate. I'm looking forward to this. The final race of F1 2021 ever in APPF1. So it's quite the occasion. It's a shame we don't have more people for it, but double figures isn't too bad, given the dwindling numbers we've had this past week from people deleting the old game. But yeah, it should be a good one. It's always a good race around Brazil.
Yeah, certainly so. Tier 2 we have the privilege of hosting the final race of the season on the 2021 game, and there's no better place to host it than at Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil. 4.309 kilometres and 15 corners make up a lap of this circuit, which will see our drivers navigate the Senna-S's in turns 1 to 3 and the twisting Sector 2 full of undulations and cambered corners. A dash to the line finishes up the lap at this circuit that has been the host to some incredible racing action in the past. We're only doing a 25% race due to the low numbers on the grid, but I'm sure that the race will be just as thrilling as it would have been as a 50% race with higher numbers. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Yeah, it should be a good one. I'm just running board. LB has somehow managed to retire already.
He's crashed at the center.
He's crashed on the pit exit.
Oh.
How has he done that? His car has been teleported onto the track, but he must have crashed in the pit lane and then been teleported out of it.
It's bizarre.
Well, yeah, not the best.
LB seems confused too.
Not the best for our champion-elect, but
oh dear.
Yeah. Oh well.
So it begins. Oh dear. Oh, I've realised I've not actually shared my stream around. I'll do that in a moment. Let me finish at least my intro. We wrapped up the Tier 2 Championship last week as LB was crowned the champion of Season 4, taking his maiden championship with us here in APPF1. Red Bull wrap up the Constructors, but there is still plenty of racing to go, as there are a few places still up for grabs in both championships. Only Ferrari and Williams are very close, but with only one car of the four here being the Ferrari of Muhiti. It looks like Ferrari are due to wrap up P3 in the Constructors Championship, and I believe Hartmann's serving a season ban. I think banned for the rest of the season after an incident last time out. he will lose P2 in the championship, it seems. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look at the standings, the final standings. Sorry, not the final standings, the standings from last week. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 in terms of the championship, with LB, of course, winning the title, and now Crozer, he's 5 points clear of Jamie F1. So all he needs to do is finish within 5 of Jamie, and he will secure P2 in the Drivers' Championship. So that would be a fantastic result for him. As Tia comes across the line to set the first lap of the day, it's a 1:08 8.7 on the medium tyre. So that is the pace to beat, and he goes for a spin as Crozer does a 1:08 8.0 on the softs, as you would expect the softs.
Here comes JBS Steve. 8.1, just a few hundredths off of Krause's time there. Tonight's stream is sponsored once again by Positive Perception Media Design Products, who have been our incredible sponsor for, I think, three seasons now, I want to say. Since season 2 at least, from what I can remember. Maybe it was from season 1. But anyway, it's been really great to have them on board as our sponsor for our tier 2 races, and I really would appreciate it, and I'm sure they would if you went over to their socials and gave them all the love and support you show us over here. They do some exceptional livery designs on GT cars and all sorts of cars, even a real life car, the what was it, the Angry Satsuma they called it, I believe, little Ford KA. Had a little bit of an accident last time out, but hopefully it's all buffered out at some point. But please do go check out Positive Perception over on their socials and on their YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, Muhiti's just come across the line and gone P3, 2.5 tenths behind Crozer. JBS Steve right behind the current pole sitter. Of course, LB is not going to be challenging for pole after the very odd pit lane incident, but Jamie F1 coming across the line, he'll be next to set a lap. Lalo Maddo is one to watch as well. He was looking very quick last week before he binned it. But here comes Jamie. It's a 8.8, quite a long way back actually from the AlphaTauri driver. So he's going to hope for a little bit better than that at this point.
Yeah, not his finest work. Here comes Scott Rowley. Not the most competitive of laps, but it looks like he and QB are going to be duking it out toward the back. But perhaps more pace in that Haas is yet to be found at the moment. So everybody's sort of peeling into the pit lane. There's not too many cars to be watching as due to the low numbers. Tier 2 tenths up. No, he's into the pits. There he goes. Only driver to venture out onto the mediums. The 1:08 8.7. A relatively respectable time over here in Tier 2. But I'm sure he's got a bit more pace in that Mercedes. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if he'll come back out on the softs or if he'll commit to the mediums. I know medium soft is probably the optimum strategy in terms of raw pace, but an actual race is very different a lot of the time. Sometimes you can have one strategy that looks best in theory, but if in practice it doesn't actually work as well as you think. Scott Rowley's about to come across the line. He was 8 tenths up by the look of that little graphic at the top, and yeah, there he goes. Still 1.8 behind Crozer's time, but he's extended.
Ooh,
oh, never mind.
QB.
QB's just beaten him. Much better lap from QB, and looks like these two will be duking it out at the back, as you say, Sumo. Lalo Maddo is about to come across the final corner to start his first lap of the session as well.
Yeah, the final proper corner. These three, this is turn, that's 13, 14 and 15 technically. They're not really corners, they're more just kinks in the straight. Except maybe 14, that's probably the more corner-like of the lot. But here comes Lalo Maddo then starting his lap nice and wide as he comes down toward the centre S. It's a lot trickier corner than it looks, the centre S's. Especially that first one. Its appearance is rather deceiving. Looks fairly easy, but it's really not as he comes down the hill into the first DRS zone. To cross that first sector line, Yeah, not going to show us exactly where he is because he's still not set a lap. The only driver not to in that Alfa Romeo as he comes up into this twisty section of Sector 2. Got to be very committed into this next corner.
Yeah, he was a bit, and he's invalidated, as you say, a bit too committed, I think. But he was a little bit tentative through the center S's, I think. Just going a little bit wide through turn 1, and that massively compromises your line through turn 2, because it's so easy to invalidate at that part of the track. So Lalamato's going to have to go again. As he rides the curb and goes for one more attempt. Tier is out on the softs and he's just started his next lap, so wonder if we'll see Tier challenging for pole today.
I wonder. I'm following on with Muhiti. Muhiti, I must say, has been one of the drivers of the season for me. He's really had a much more improved Tier 2 championship as he pulls over to let Tier through. I think he's abandoning that lap for the time being, perhaps, but he's really stepped up. He had a terrible season last time out. And this season has seen himself up on the podium, up on the top step of the podium on a couple of occasions, and has really cemented himself as a good Tier 2 driver here. And hopefully his prospects are many in the future.
Yeah, I mean, F122, often the new game ends up shaking up some league grids, but hopefully Muhiti can keep his form that he's carried into this season. Could have easily challenged for the title if he hadn't had to miss one or two races. Tier comes across the line. He is going to be provisional pole. No! 100th behind Crozer. Wow, just 300ths between the top three at the moment. This is going to be a very close qualifying. JBS Steve is coming across the line, but he's 2.5 tenths up. So he's about to take provisional pole, I think. Here he comes. It's a 7.8. That is the new time to beat.
Our first driver to dip into the 1-minute 7s then. So the gauntlet thrown down by JBS Steve on this second set of qualifying laps. Here comes Mr. J-Man. Invalidated his lap. Lots of track invalidations on this qualifying session. I think I know exactly which corner that might be at. That high-speed right-hander in sector 2 there. I think on the exit of there before you get to I don't know what number corner that is. That's what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe. Turn 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Muhiti is 7.5 tenths up. Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo. Looks like he's going to be challenging for provisional pole. The Turkish driver who we were just singing the praises of comes across the line. I think this is going to be really good from Muhiti. It is a 7.6.
Wow, what a get me in there. I'll be late anyway. I'm ready to leave again. As we barely touched the wall and just lost my wheel. 5 miles per hour. Oh dear, LB, what are you going to do with you, eh? But Muhiti, wow, great lap. 2 tenths quicker than JBS Steve. Really showing us that improvement he's had over the season. I'll be saying Muhiti Tier 1. I know he's seen a lot of improvement, has the Ferrari driver, and definitely has been one of the drivers who have been a highlight of the season.
Don't think he's quite ready for Tier 1 though.
No.
Mr. J-Man did improve just now, but Jamie F1 is another man who improved. He was only 500ths behind Tier now. And Mr. J-Man only another just under a tenth behind that. So it's looking very close between the top 6 drivers. And don't forget, we've got Lalo, who hasn't set a lap yet, and of course LB at the back. So it's going to be all to play for this race, I think. It's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's a lot of... I think Lalo is out on the medium tyre now, so looking to perhaps try a different strategy. He's come out on 2 sets of softs and invalidated those laps. So hopefully he doesn't invalidate this one, or at least for his sake. As he comes through, let's watch Krauser, 800ths of a second up through sector 1. 3 tenths up as he crosses the line at the end of sector 2 to come into the 3rd sector. So this could be a strong lap from the Red Bull of Krauser, who only just got his first win here in APPF1 Tier 2. Looks to go across the line. Oh, it's so close. It's, what, 15 No, less than that, more than that even. 25,
4,000.
oh yeah, 4,000, so however many you want. But it's incredibly close. I can't count this evening, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's really stepped it up this season, Crozer. He's been great and got his first ever APPF1 win, as you say, in Belgium a couple of weeks ago, which was brilliant to see. And he's a popular character in the Discord, I think. So good to see him on top, and hopefully he can carry this form into the new game as well.
Yeah, hopefully so. The new game's been a lot of fun at the moment. The only issue I'm having at the minute is numerous crashes, and I think everybody's suffering with them. Nobody will be wanting to crash in this race this afternoon, so hopefully both game-wise and actual on-track wise. I know I'm just chatting a load of rubbish at the moment, but here comes Lalo Madden, finally looking like he's going to put in a lap that's worth talking about. Not one that has been invalidated. Coming down across the line now, opens up the DRS. Looks fairly quick. It's a 1 minute 8.5. Not challenging into the top 5, but decent on the mediums.
Tier could get himself into P3 here. It was a little bit tentative through Sector 2, but coming across the line now, 7.6. He does go into P3, but look at those times!
Close.
Half a tenth of pole, but he's in P3. It's absolutely incredibly close times at the moment. Still 3.5 minutes to go of this session. I'm so glad we did a short quali and not one shot, because this is brilliant.
0.04 of a second between the top 3.
And JBS Steve's about to start a lap as well. It could be between the top 4 if he gets his act together as well, gets himself into that tenth of a second it is at the moment. Jamie F1's in the pits. Mr. J-Man's on an outlap, so got to keep an eye on him as well. I'm going to ride on board with JBS Steve, who's gone 2/10 faster in Sector 1 alone, Sumo.
Looking like a much quicker time. Muhiti's out on track at the moment as well, but he's going slowly, perhaps looking to do an extra warm-up lap on those tyres at the moment. Lalo, I reckon and that's his last run of the evening, so I'm going to ride aboard with Muhiti. Not Muhiti, no, it's JBS Steve, sorry, who is the only driver, the next driver to cross the line is on a lap, as Krause has gone on a bit of a journey at turn 4.
Still.
Like
I think there's going to be less than a tenth between the top 4, Sumo. Here he comes. Muhiti's on a lap as well. I don't know if he's going faster. No, he's not. So JBS Steve going to come across the line. It's a 7.5. It's just over 1/10 between the top 4. This is absolutely incredible. We saw a long DRS train on Friday in Tier 1 on this track, and I think we're going to see the same again. This is outrageously close between these 4.
Mr. J-Man up just a little bit by 0.05 of a second as he comes through Sector 3 now, coming towards the start-finish straight and onto the line. I really cannot speak this evening. I'm really not in it, but gets himself up into P5 as Jamie F1's cutting it fine, but he should just make the line for his lap. Krauser starts his final lap of the session. Lalo Madder, I believe, is on a lap. I'm not sure where this lap time's going to see him, but this will be his last run around Sao Paulo, and I think he's into the pit lane. Yes, he is. In he goes. QB on a lap at the moment. He's got JBS Steve behind him as well, I think, who's looking to go faster, perhaps. That's not JBS Steve, that's Jamie F1, sorry, who's starting his lap. Let's see what Muhiti's doing. He's way down on his time, so he's probably going to go one more time. He's got plenty of time. I don't know, my clock's probably wrong again.
Yeah, 1 minute 8 left.
1 minute 8 left, yeah, so perhaps a bit more time. More time than is displayed on my clock. Mine says we've only got 22 seconds left as of this time at the moment. So let's see. That's what I'm about with Krauser, who'll be the next to improve. Perhaps he's down by 0.06 of a second at the moment, so perhaps no improvement from the Red Bull driver as he comes up through Sector 3.
Mr. J-Man improved again. It's enough to cement his position in P5, but not enough to challenge for the top 4. Jamie F1 is invalidated, so I don't know if he's going to get across the line in time. I think he's got just enough time. There's 26 seconds to go. So he will have one more attempt, Jamie F1, but there'll be a lot of pressure on it.
Muhiti's 2/10 up, coming through sector 2 here. He's all the way, he's coming through sector 3. It's flat out from that final proper corner all the way to the line. It's the Scarlet Ferrari going to take provisional pole position. Yes, he is. It's a 1 minute 7.3, throwing down the gauntlet 2/10 quicker than JBS Steve. These final runs are going to come in thick and fast at the moment. Hello, AP. It's nice to have you back in the chat again for your usual drop in on a Tuesday. Here comes Krauser then through sector 2, looking to improve as he comes up through this flat out right hander to cross the sector 2 line as he goes very wide, and I'm not sure that's going to be an improvement from the Red Bull. So we'll go towards the next car behind him. 6/10 up is Scott Rowley, so he's looking to knock QB down a place at the moment in their little race towards the back end of the grid.
Tier was just about 300ths down through sector 2, so he's going to need a mighty final sector, and he gets into P2. Tier onto the front row. I don't think he's going to be challenged. Mr. J-Man is not on a lap. Lalo Mato is finished, so that will be your grid order, and Muhiti gets his first ever pole position in APPF1.
Wow, I think AP's going to be happy he is. Yeah, he's saying yes, Tier. He's cheering him on. As Tier gets himself on the front row. I think that's his best qualifying performance of this season.
He got pole in China.
Pole in China. Oh, I don't remember. Yeah. No. So there you go.
Yeah. He's and then the rain came out, and we all thought, oh, here we go, Tier. He was in the fight for the win all race. The rain came out, and we're like, oh, here we go, changeable conditions with Tier, and he immediately binned it.
Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah, I do remember it now, you know. But well done, Muhiti. Final race of the season. Final race of the F1 2021 game here in APPF1. And it's his first pole position here. Incredible stuff. Well done. Big pat on the back to Muhiti. But that is going to be your qualifying grid. We're just waiting for the game to see us into the loading screens and the results.
How close those times are. Tier 2/10 back, and then JBS Steve 200ths behind that. Crozer just another 10th back, and Mr. J-Man only another couple tenths. It's really, really close, and we'll have to see how the race pace shakes out, but at the moment I think we're in for a great race despite the low numbers. And by the way, look at the gap between 8th and 9th as well. QB and Scott with their little battle. Just over 100th of a second between the two of them.
Yeah, these two are going to have themselves a lot of fun toward the back end, and maybe try and get themselves in amongst the fight in the middle. But anyway, only 10 drivers in the session, and Muhiti is the one who has proven himself the fastest, taking pole position for the final race of Season 4, with Tier joining him on the front row. JBS Stephen Krauser on row number 2 in positions 3 and 4, with Mr. J-Man and Jamie F1 taking up row 3. Lalo Mado and QB take up P7 and 8, with Scott Rowley rounding off the rest of the runners, and LB crashing in a very strange way to round off the grid in P10. Tier's a master in the wet. He's not been the master in the wet that we all know him to be this season. I think, if I remember rightly, I think every time the rain's come out, Tier's put it in the wall. So something going wrong for the acclaimed Rain Master. It does take a lot, and speaking of rain, wet weather races are going to be very very interesting in next year's game. I think it's quite difficult to find the grip in F1 22 when the rain comes out, because once you lose it, it's been very hard to find that grip again in the wet weather. Yeah, the Wall Master would probably be a better title.
Well, I haven't even tried the wet on the new game yet.
Yeah, I've tried a few. I've been in a few races, because you know what ranked races are like. They love to throw in a wet race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's not much in it between intermediates and wets in terms of how grippy each tyre is. It feels more like 2020 actually with the wet weather. which, if I remember rightly, wasn't too great.
Yeah, it's always tricky, the wet, but yeah, if it really is more difficult on the new game, then I might be in trouble. But we'll see. Muhiti leading us off on the formation lap, the first ever time that he will do so in APPF1. I'm sure he's going to be both very happy and very nervous in that cockpit.
Yeah, Lolo Maddo, the only driver to start on the mediums. Everybody else opting for the softs, and no other choice really, because there's only 10 drivers in. So the tyre they start qualify on is the tyre they start on. But it should be a very interesting race. Could be a decent battle between Muhiti and Tyr here. JBS Steve and Jamie, the only well, other than Red Bull, but I think they're the only team who can actually maybe improve their position in the constructors. I'm not actually sure. Let's have a look. While we're on the formation lap, and what I should have done is looked back on the first stream we did for this season for our season predictions, but I didn't do that this time. So I do apologise for that. Let's see, Tier 2 standings. Oh no, they can't really improve their position. They're in P2. So yeah, I think expect to see Ferrari pop up as there's no Williams to defend P3. Some interesting battles to maybe look for. Krauser and Jamie F1 are fairly close in points, so keep an eye on those two. Muhiti could see himself in amongst that as well. With JBS Steve a little bit further back, but maybe some lucky results could see him into it. QBP9 in the championship, which is a decent result for him. I think it's mostly because he's been at every race of the season, I think. But anyway, here we go then. We're going racing here in Brazil with 5 red lights. And away they go for the final race of this season, and it looks like a great start from Tyr, who's already drawing alongside JBS Steve, looking to get through as well. Muhiti defends to the outside through the centre. S is there, and he becomes the inside, and it's easier to defend as he draws himself in front, but still very close, and Tyr's got himself a good run on the Ferrari ahead. There's a little bit of squabbling behind them, but Tyr's now got the inside line into towards turn 4. They're going side by side, wheel to wheel through there. Muhiti forced off the circuit. They're going to continue to go up the hill side by side into this next corner. Surely not very committed from both of them. Muhiti with a better line, but Tyr might have a better run. No, he gets squeezed out and runs out of room and finds himself in a red wall as JBS Steve goes very deep into the next corner. A lot of wheel banging and jostling between the two of them, and JBS Steve sees himself into P3.
LB already up to P7. He had a monstrous start. He got past QB and Scott immediately. Scott's already had a spin, so he's down 10 seconds behind everyone else. But what a little battle between Muhiti and Tyr to start off this race that was. I think this will continue. JBS Steve lost a lot of time there as he, as you say, a bit of wheel banging with Crows.
Here comes Jamie F1. He's going his way. He's got straight past Mr. J-Man. And LB looking to get involved as well. Mr. J-Man went onto the grass there to try and reclaim that position, but no luck. And then LB swoops around the outside. And I think Lolo Maddo might be about to go on the attack on the McLaren as well. It's looking likely he's not quite drawing close enough, though, to the Papaya car. And perhaps will drop out of that and think about it. Oh, but J-Man goes very deep. And that invites Lolo Maddo up the inside and takes P7 to join onto this train.
I wonder if there's damage to that McLaren. There could be. It looks like he's understeering quite a bit, so I think we might see Mr. J-Man into the pits, unfortunately. But the top 4 of trying to get away from Jamie F1, get out of that 1 second range, and at the moment they're doing exactly that, but Crozer makes a little mistake, and that's really going to hamper his chances. If he's not in DRS range when it comes on, he is never going to see that top 3 again. So he's got to use the ERS to get within a second. He has done that, but yeah, that could be a costly error for Crozer at this early stage.
Here comes LB. He's flying at the moment. He's looking toward the outside of Jamie F1. These two have had their fair few fights. They're banging wheels as they go in towards the centre S's and down the hill, but it's another place for LB as he finds himself up 5 places from the start, but Jamie F1 looks to get a much better run, and DRS is now active as well. So around the outside for the Alpha Tauri, wheel to wheel through turn 4. They're respectful racing between the two of them. They're going to continue to be side by side as they go up the hill, perhaps. No, Jamie F1 has to concede a little bit, but it's very close between the two of them as they go into sector 2.
Oh, but he's gone for it again. LB goes deep into the next corner, and Jamie F1 tries to find a way up the inside, can't quite manage it. A little bit of contact as they go through as well. It's a very jostly racing at the moment, but LB looks like he's gotten that position now, and he's going to be hunting after the top 4 with his teammate just in front of him now.
Yeah, Lalo Maddo might be one to watch, the only driver trying the alternate strategy, so just keep an eye on that Alfa Romeo. Very fast when he wants to be, and speaking of, he's on the attack. Here he comes then, down the inside of Jamie F1. Jamie F1 squeezes him toward the inside of the track at the moment. They've both got DRS. That's contact that was nearly very fatal between the two of them, but they're going to continue to go side by side. This has invited Mr. J-Man back in on this action as well as they come through turn 3 onto that first DRS straight of this circuit. They've all got DRSs. They're in this train at the moment, so no way past as they're all on fairly equal terms as they reach their top speed.
Muhitti's trying to pull away from Tyr further up, but it's just about hovering in that 6, 7, 8 tenths margin. As Lalo goes for a spin nearly. He gets a time penalty for corner cutting, which isn't very fair. I'm sure he'll get that removed if it affects the race result in the end, but that was a fantastic save from the Alfa Romeo driver, but it has lost him a position. He's down to P8.
I was watching on board with that, so perhaps a little bit of commentator's curse as that happened, but yeah, very good to save it there. It's so easy to lose it there and not very easy to gain it back, but Lalo has managed to do it as Tyr's trying to close up that gap again as he sets the fastest lap, a 1 minute 9.8 from the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, he's looking to close in on Muhitti now. He's going to have the DRS. Muhitti hasn't got any ERS left. Here comes the Brit in the Mercedes. He's taken the lead of this race with DRS, a simple pass in the end, and Muhitti down to P2. No ERS to speak of. We've got yellow flags in sector
QB.
1. Oh, QB's had a spin. I don't believe it. But Mr. J-Man, Jamie and Lalo Maddo all still fighting back there as well. Muhitti hasn't given this up either. He's still within shot of Tyr, but that ERS disadvantage could come back to bite him in the next few laps.
Yeah, certainly could. What Muhitti should try and perhaps do is try and stay with Tyr with using as little ERS as possible. Tyr's not got too much more. He's got about half his battery left. But if Muhitti can just save up some of that battery, he might have a bit more to use in the later stages of this race.
Here comes Mr. J-Man on Jamie F1 up to down the grid for P6. They go side by side. Jamie backs out in the end, goes down to P7. He will have DRS again on the run to turn 4 as Lalo Maddo has to just sit and watch on those medium tyres, not able to have the grip at the moment. But here comes Muhitti on Tyr.
And they go into turn 4. Tyr defends around the outside. Left squeezed. Oh, what's going on there? I think Tyr made a big mistake, and that's invited JBS Steve into the fray now as well. I don't think there's any damage on that Mercedes, but that was a huge moment for Tyr, and he's lucky to still be going around on the circuit as Jamie F1 gets himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Yeah, he went really deep into turn 4 to defend from Muhitti. Muhitti kind of scared him off the track, really. And Tyr just nearly, it looked like he was gone. I was riding on board with Muhitti at the time, and it really looked like Tyr was about to go into the wall. But he managed to save it, lost a position, but he's still in this race and still in this battle for the race lead. As Crozer has dropped back 2 seconds now and is under pressure from his teammate.
It certainly is, and it looks like it might be a move for P4 for LB, and it is. Krauser, quite understandably, doesn't fight that too much, but they can have a fight, these Red Bulls. It's the last race of the season. Their championships are over, more or less. Krauser just yet to take P2, which will be an easy job as long as he finishes. So Krauser's going to have a go at his teammate. Oh, JB and Lalo having a bit of a go at the back as well. I must say Mr. J-Man's having a decent race so far. He's making up for a lot of poor results in the past, and it's nice to see that McLaren finally up battling other cars for the moment. I won't jinx him anymore, but Tier's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's got the founder of the APPF1 league cheering him on, so he's got to bring home that result this evening.
Absolutely. He's at the back of the DRS train now, though, which is not where he wants to be. As long as he can stay with them, though, he will be fine. This is a 25% race, remember, so yeah, I don't know how much Lalo Mato is going to get out of this alternate strategy, actually. It's better in the 50% race, but...
oh, here comes JBS Steve. He's gone down the inside of turn 1 on Muhiti. He's got no ERS to defend with, but that outside line has given him a much better run into the second part of that complex. But JBS Steve's really got some pace coming through turn 3. A lot more battery to use. He's going to swoop past the Ferrari towards turn 4. And that's the lead of the race. This is a great battle. 3 cars all fighting for the lead. Muhiti has a little look up the inside towards turn 5. Tier's trying to find a way past the Ferrari at the moment as well as they come up the hill. But it's JBS Steve followed by Muhiti, followed by Tier as they come into this twisty section.
He just about managed to save it, got a bit too much on the curb. He does have a 3-second time penalty, by the way, Tier, already, so not good news for him. That could cost him towards the end of this race. Mr. J-Man gets one as well, just as I was saying it, and Lalo Mato still trying to find a way past Jamie on those medium tyres for now.
Yeah, this fighting is going to bring LB into the fray as well, but I don't think he'll need the fighting. He's got a lot of pace, that Red Bull. At the moment, and he's just catching and catching and catching. It could also bring Krauser in, as Muhiti and Tier, our front row sitters, have come into the pits for their stop.
Yeah, that's an undercut coming through from those two, and I think that's going to cost JBS Steve. I think he will come out behind both of them, to be honest. The undercut's so strong around here, as Krauser dragging the DRS from his teammate. He's almost being dragged into this battle by LB. For the top 3 positions. We could have a
J-Man's gone very deep into turn 4, and that's invited Jamie F1 to go up the inside of the McLaren and get himself up into P4.
Kieran Muhiti fighting out the pit lane. Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo. Tier's gotten the position. He's up to P6. Nearly loses it on the exit of turn 4. But he just got a better exit out of the pit lane, which is not something you often say. And he used it to get straight past Muhiti on the straight. And now Muhiti nearly loses it in shock, I imagine, of have I really been overtaken at the pit exit? Yes, you have, Muhiti, and he's down to P7, which is provisional P3. But I wonder where those Red Bulls are going to shake up as JBS Steve comes in. LB stays out, as does Krauser.
So going deep into the race are the Red Bulls, going for trying to get that overcut on them as Muhiti spun. No! Oh, Muhiti.
Oh no!
Dropped the ball when it matters most. And it's found himself lamenting now in P9 on the grid. Some people still yet to come in, so he'll gain a few places, but he's not fighting. But who is fighting is Tier, and it's incredibly close between the two. They're going to be fighting down towards turn 4, perhaps, as JBS Steve just gets ahead of the Mercedes. But it's a battle resumed and back to where they were, more or less. As JBS Steve exits the pit lane after his stop, and Tier's got the warmer tyres, so he's got to use that advantage while he has it.
He absolutely does, but he's still just behind that AlphaTauri, and well, with Muhiti gone, he's going to feel a little bit more comfortable, but Muhiti's going to be absolutely gutted with that, thrown away what was his first pole position. And he'll be lucky to get on the podium now. LB sets the fastest lap. He's not losing any pace on those 10-lap-old softs as his teammate comes in. Mr. J-Man also bites the bullet and comes into the pits. But where are Tier and JBS Steve going to end up? Is Krauser going to be significantly behind them? We'll have to wait and see as they come up towards turn 1. Tier's got the DRS, but not quite close enough. Lalo Mato sets the fastest lap just behind them as well. We've got to watch out for the Alfa Romeo. He's on the soft tyres. He's not that far behind. So this is not over yet. We could still have a 5-car battle for the race lead.
Oh, he's ahead of Krauser, is Lalo Mado, so those softs really paying dividends for the Alfa Romeo, who's looking to charge towards this fight just ahead of him, as Tier is practically pushing JBS Steve through, but not a lot of battery in that Mercedes to use, and we'd be interested to see where LB's out. J-Man has spun after his pit, which promotes Muhiti up into P7 at the moment, but he gets a 3-second time penalty, does the Ferrari. I think the only driver not to pit now are Scott Rowley and LB. I think Scott Rowley actually did come in a lot earlier, but LB's finally in. So where are JBS Steve and Tier going to go? They've not been fighting too hard with each other, but that gap was fairly large.
That's going to change now, though. Tier's definitely close enough to make a move into turn 1 if he so wishes. He's not using any ERS. He wants to save it maybe for turn 4, or maybe he doesn't want to battle at this point. Lalo Mado sets another fastest lap, and he's now within a second of these two. So Lalo Mado could have a shot at the race victory as well.
So close. LB's on the pit exit at the moment. He's going to come straight into this fight at the minute. So it's 4 cars now fighting toward the front of the grid, with Lalo Mado on the softer compounder tyre. So it's a 4-car battle, but Lalo and Tier both have penalties. So it's really JBS Steve and LB fighting it out for this race win.
You can't take anything for granted in motorsport, though, Sumo, as you know, it's plenty of time, 6.5 laps to go for JBS Steve or LB to get penalties. I'm going to check on their warnings, so I'll just do that quickly. JBS Steve has 2 warnings, and LB also has 2 warnings, so it's not over yet.
We'll have a look at the penalties. It's 3 seconds for everybody bar Jamie F1, who's got himself 6 seconds, but he's not in this fight at the front. It's JBS Steve, followed by Tier, then LB, then Lalo Mado as they come through towards to start lap 13 of this race. And they're all trying to find a way through on the car ahead of them in this train. And Lalo Mado gets incredibly close to the back of LB, almost losing the car. Incredible job to keep it going on the road. That's going to affect him as they come down toward turn 4. Tier defending a little bit, defending clear air perhaps. Oh, that was JBS Steve, sorry, defending some clear air, as Tier's not really got a lot left at all to battle with, as he's used so much of that battery on the opening laps of his stint that he's not got any to fight with now.
Yeah, he's got nothing left in that battery, Tier. Lalo Mado has got plenty left though, and he's got the softer compound of tyre. So, and with JBS Steve and LB both on 2 warnings, it's far from over, as Tier makes a little mistake though, and another little mistake. Could that invite LB at the final corner? It could. He goes down the inside to make the move. Tier hangs it round the outside, but that's it. The move is made. LB into P2, and now he'll be chasing JBS Steve, but he's not going to have DRS because of that. So Tier's going to be right back at him. No ERS to speak of, but it doesn't matter. He's got that open rear
free
wing.
ride into turn 1. There's contact.
Oh my word, they're still side by side. Tier has to go off the road to avoid contact. Lalo Mado, what a move. Crozer up into P4 now. Tier just got so unlucky there with the run of things. LB bang round the outside of Lalo Mado into turn 4. Who's going to come out on top? LB has to go deep and loses the position back again. Lalo Mado into P2. JBS Steve has built a 1.3 second lead. But it's coming down fast. Lalo Mado right behind him now. Could be within a second before the end of this lap.
What an audacious send from Lalo Mado, and it paid off. It was very who did that? Was it Sainz in his incredible drive to get himself his first podium in Formula 1 back in 2020, I think it was, if I remember correctly. But what a great move from the Alfa Romeo, and it's a fight resume as he's slowly catching up to JBS Steve at the moment. Muhiti another spin for the Turkish driver, and here comes Tier now going around the outside of Krauser now. He wants to get himself back into this fight as the closing laps start coming in. He's got a lot of time to make up, but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible at all. He's got to hope that the cars ahead of him get penalties though. Crozer is going to have the DRS as well. It's not over yet. Could they be side by side into turn 4? Look at the closing speed on the Red Bull. Down the inside he goes. There's contact. Crozer, bit of wheel banging there, manages to keep the car on the track. They're going to be side by side up the hill. Tier gets another time penalty, so he is well and truly out of it now. But wow, Crozer managed to just keep the position. Brilliant racing between the two, but Tier losing out there. Down to P5 he goes, and he's going to be under pressure from Jamie F1 pretty soon as well.
Muhitti's into the pits, possibly some damage on that Ferrari, but he'll probably go for fastest lap. Why not as you go? Maybe try and get a lap record. It's the last chance to get a lap record on this year's game. It'll be a tough one to beat, I imagine, but it's certainly possible. Lalo Maddo opens up that DRS now, chasing after JBS Steve, who's got nothing left in the battery. Lalo Maddo's got plenty left to use. He looks toward the outside, doesn't quite find the way through as they start to come down the hill now, but it's this DRS zone here down towards turn 4. JBS Steve already defending that inside line, but Lalo Maddo's found a way through. By the looks of it, I've got a terrible camera angle for this, but Lalo Maddo has found his way in to P1.
Tier and Crozer
Lalo Maddo's crashed!
He's gone! And Tier's gone as well! He's lost his front wing! It's Lalo Maddo in the middle of the track. How is this not a safety car? I know, because we've only got 2 laps left, so it won't come out. And Tier has lost his front wing. He's going to drop all the way down. He could drop behind Mr. J-Man as of yet. Lalo Maddo, oh, what a shame. He really was on for this race victory. JBS Steve's got a time penalty, so it looks like it's LB from the back of the grid who's going to win this race. 2 laps to go.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there in that crash. I couldn't quite see it. I don't know whether he just overstepped it on the power and lost the rear end because of it. I'm not too sure, to be honest. That might appear in the steward's room, but it looks like LB championship winner is going to be in contention for this race win as long as he doesn't get that one more penalty. Remember, he's got one more mistake before he gets one, so he's got to be careful.
Here he comes round the outside of turn 4, but he's got to be careful to keep it on the road. He does. There's contact again. JBS Steve is out. He's out. He's into the wall. Oh, no. I think he just understeered into LB. I don't think there was any malice really involved there. It's so unfortunate, but 2 cars out in 2 laps towards the end of this race after it was looking so clean. And Jamie F1, against all odds, looks like he's going to get himself on the podium here.
Yeah, it certainly does. He's been way back in the middle of the pack at the moment, but after these DNFs and these spins, he's managed to find himself just in the perfect place, and that's how motorsport can work out for you. Here and there. QB in P7 at the moment, P6 now. I'm not sure what his highest grid finish is, but that'll be a good way to round off his season with the Alpine.
Absolutely. It's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 by the looks of it to end off the season. We're on to the final lap, and well, it's survival of the fittest, it seems. This race has been. It's just been drivers trying to keep it on the track, basically, and those who have done are going to end up getting good positions. The 2 Red Bulls consistent as ever, 1 and 2, and unless there's any more disasters to come, that will be that. The lap record, by the way, is a 1 minute 8.0. Muhitti's fastest lap just now was an 8.9, so I think that's going to be a little bit of a step too far, but yeah, wow. What a bit of an anticlimactic ending to the race, but still, what an incredible race this has been.
Yeah, it certainly is. LB then coming round the final few corners of this track to take the win of this race after what has been a crazy short race at the moment. He's slowing down.
Crozer have it.
He's going to give it to Crozer, perhaps. No,
nope.
he memed him right toward the end there. Made him think he was going to get it. But LB then comes across the line to be the winner of the final race of the season, with Crozer making it a 1-2 for Red Bull, and Jamie F1 finding himself on the podium against all the odds. Mr. J-Man will come home with his best result of the season. I think, or a decent result at least, in P4, a good way to round it out. tier P5 and gets fastest lap,
Oh, an
8.3. It
8.3.
was close. A close attempt for that lap record, but no dice at the moment. QB coming home in P6 in the Alpine. A great result for him. Muhiti, he'll be kicking himself after that one, binning it when he was in the middle of the fight for the front. Finds himself in P7, not where he would have wanted to finish this race at all. With Scott Rowley going to be the final of the finishers, just coming down towards the line now. What an incredible race, and thank you, AP. We do try our best.
Well, what an ending to a brilliant season. LB, driver of the day as well, given by the game, and well, personally, I can't really disagree, Sumo. I don't know about you.
No, started P10, kept himself out of trouble and found himself on the top step of the podium. That's why he's the champion. Yeah, he's quickly adapted to that wheel over this what has been 8 weeks of incredible racing, and it's been so much fun to bring it all to you guys throughout this entire game life cycle.
Absolutely, it's that will be that for F1 2021. LB gets the last win on this game in APPF1. I'll let you run through the grid order, Sumo. We've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, LB the champion then takes the final win of the 2021 game here in APPF1 in Tier 2 Season 4, with his teammate making it a 1-2 for Red Bull, and Jamie F1 rounding off the podium. Mr. J-Man comes home in P4, his best result of the season, with Tier P5, QB P6, Muhiti a disappointing P7, and Scott Rowley P8, the last of the finishes, with JBS Steve and Lalo Maddo not finishing the race.
Yeah, it's definitely a battle of survival, that race in the end. I don't know, did everyone get classified?
I don't think so.
Not quite. No. JBS Steve and Lalo Maddo, neither of them did quite enough laps to get themselves classified. So really unfortunate for them too, because they definitely deserve to score points today, but just unlucky in the end. But yeah, there we have it. F1 2021 is over, Sumo. What a game it's been. What a year it's been. Yeah, any other thoughts, I suppose?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've started this league season right at the very beginning, commentating for the first time, and it's been an incredible journey over these last 4 seasons. You jumped on board with me for the second season onwards, Ghost, and it's been a lot of fun to do something new other than get myself behind the wheel. I have missed racing, of course, but I at least get to watch these incredible races and these incredible moments and these incredible drivers all fight it out for points to become the champion of that respective season. And we've crowned some incredible champions. We had who was it? Harass? No, was it
Harass season
Harass
1.
season 1? Then we had Bumblebee season 2, Tinor season 3, who was so close to a championship in Tier 1 just a few days ago, and then we of course have LB for season 4. We're 4 seasons in, and a new season just around the corner. But I'm going to enjoy a nice little break as we go into F1 22.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see how everyone shakes out with the new game, and I can't wait to see. I'm sure will be a lot of newcomers to the league with the new game incoming. So yeah, looking forward to it, Sumo. I cannot wait to see how things are going to play out, and the new cars definitely capable of producing some great racing. So
Yes.
yeah, really looking forward to this.
Yeah, certainly. So, with some of the new track layouts and Miami, of course, which has been fairly interesting to race on the new game. We've got some huge prospects coming up, but that's all going to be in about a month and a half, maybe 2 months' time. as we have a little slowdown now for everybody to play F1 22, and it's been great to have you guys come along. And yes, crossplay hopefully will be on the game sooner rather than later, as I think they need to prioritise getting that up and running and stable for the time being. But anyway, that's going to do us. We've had an incredible season, an incredible 4 seasons of Tier 2 racing action, and it's been an absolute privilege to bring it to everybody. I hope you have enjoyed thoroughly every single race, every single moment, and if you are one of the 85 people who have subscribed so far, thank you very much. Make sure you've liked the streams as well, and perhaps if you're new, perhaps you want to become one of the 15 people that will make me get to 100 subscribers finally. But maybe that'll be the goal for next season. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Yeah, what a year it's been. I also dipped my hand into commentary this year, and it's been a blast. Especially when I've been in the box with you, Sumo. Dream team, as everyone says.
Yes.
So, yeah, and bring on the new game. Can't wait for some fantastic races, both in and out of the cockpit. But yeah, it's going to be great. I'm enjoying it so far when it's not crashing.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed what has been a great year, and more locally, a great season. Well done to LB on the driver's title and Red Bull on the constructors, because they were imperious this season, and that 1-2 in the last race just proved the speak. The last race just proved it.
Yes, congratulations to them, and congratulations to all of our drivers for taking part in such an incredible season. A big thank you to Positive Perception Media Design Products for sponsoring us for our time over our time as a Tier 2 league. We look forward to many more seasons of sponsorship with you guys, and please do make sure you've gone and checked out their socials, as they do some incredible stuff over on their Facebook, their Instagram, their YouTube as well. If you want to see some league racing action, well, some racing action from those guys over there. And I think that's about it. Big thank you to everybody in the APPF1 community. Big thank you to those who aren't in the community and have perhaps found the channel as well. There'll be plenty of more racing content coming up soon. Hopefully, once the game's stable enough, I'll start doing some career mode streams, either here or on Twitch. So I'll make sure to try and get those sorted out when I've got the time to do them. But anyway, I think that's going to be everything from us for now. I hope everybody has an incredible summer. I hope everybody has a lot of fun getting used to F1 22 for the next coming months. And we will see you at some point in the future for some more APPF1 League racing. But for now, I have been Sumo.
I have been Ghost.
And we will see you next time out on track. Goodbye for now.